Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna do, it's kind of in the middle of a color correction, but really just changing her color differently. So she has a lot of gray at the top, and her gray is interesting because she has like a centimeter of like gray, like 75% gray, and then she has an inch after that of like gray mixed with highlights, and then she has dark and highlights that are random highlights. So that's kind of why it's a color correction, because we are going blonder. We do want her to be pretty blonde, not all the way blonde, we still want some low lights in there, but for the most part blonde, and then definitely cover up those grays. So what I'm doing is I'm going in with a 6N full by Matrix, the Logix line, and I have this little thing called Gray Magic, and it's just like this little boost to really get in those grays and cover them. So I put a shot of that in it, and I put a shot of blue solution, like pure pigment blue, in there just to counteract the warmth that Matrix has. Matrix is a great line, but it does run pretty warm, so I just want to kind of nix that. It's not going to be completely ashy, not at all. It's still going to be warm, but I just didn't want those grays to get warm. So I am doing that all over. This is the last section of that. So I definitely saturated fully on that 75% gray centimeter all around her hairline and her roots, and then I went over the inch of that gray highlight tone because I wanted to get rid of those grays too. I didn't want a band of gray around her head in between her highlights. That would look ridiculous. So covered all of that, and then I'm going to go in with highlights, a pretty heavy highlight. I'm not going to highlight every single thing, but a lot of highlights. So I did an inch around on each side of her part. She parts to the side but almost in the middle, so just like a 2-inch section there, and then I'm going to do that last, so I'm putting that away, and then I'm going to go to the back of her head and combine the back two sections like I normally do when I'm doing like a balayage. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to balayage pieces halfway up the back of her head. So I'm not going to put these in like a traditional weave. I'm just taking slices and I'm balayaging, doing like the V color painting technique. So completely cover the ends and really saturate and get that V section, because I want those ends lighter. I don't really want super dark underneath her hair. I do want some lightness under there, just so there's not so much of a contrast between that and the top of her head. And she wants some layering and texturizing, so I don't want it to be like just her layers are highlighted. That would also look ridiculous. So I am balayaging just a couple slices underneath there to bring that lightness underneath, and then I will start going into foils, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so now that I have done those balayage pieces halfway up the back of her head, I'm going to start doing traditional weave foils, and I'm starting at an angle, and I'm just going to do the back. I have the sections from the behind the ear forward are sectioned away. Well, I know how they're sectioned on both sides, and then the rest of the hair that's left in the back I'm putting in foil. So I'm weaving pretty big weaves, and I'm taking like a centimeter section, splitting it in half, and weaving that top half and putting that in a foil, if that makes sense. You can kind of see how I'm doing it here. And I'm feathering the top because I don't want there to be a harsh line. There won't be really because of the root color, but I really do want it to blend smoothly. So again, I'm taking a centimeter section, splitting it in half, and weaving the top half and putting that in a foil. And you can alternate if you want to do fine weaves, medium weaves, heavy weaves. It's all your preference and what your client is wanting. So I did small fine weaves and medium weaves throughout this, and just really saturating that with lightener and then folding it up into foil. So I did that all the way diagonal across the back of her head, and then I will do it diagonal up the sides and then on that Mohawk section, but I'll come back and I'll tell you exactly how I'm doing each section. So moving on to the sides, this is the same for both sides. So I'm starting right by her hairline, right in front of her ear, and so I'm taking a small section. It's the exact same thing, taking like a centimeter section, taking the top, weaving that, putting it in foil. But these ones are a little closer together because it's around her face and her hairline, and I'm really getting the pieces. I'm weaving specifically to get the pieces in the front of her hairline into the foil. So I don't really want to leave those pieces out. I want to get like her hairline pieces in the foil. So I'm weaving according to that. And then, yeah, just fine weaves, put a lot in there, blending between the root and the beginning of the highlight. And yeah, keep doing that. I do that both each side the same way. So in the front Mohawk section, what I do is I take super fine pieces right in the front. I do 2 of these so super fine foils right by around her part, and I get her part in the middle, so it's just right on the part. And I fold those up really nice and tight so that they do not move and they don't get in her eyes, and they process really nice and bright. So I get those really, really fine through there and weave those just like that, as you can see. Get it really close to her scalp, but not on her scalp. You don't want any bleeders. And just tuck that nice in there. And then I do the same weaving technique that I've done the rest of the head through this Mohawk section. Diagonally, fine weaves, medium weaves, centimeter section, put the top section in the foil. And that is that process. So her grays definitely processed for about 45 minutes to 50 minutes. I really wanted those to cover. Full line does cover grays, but you have to leave it on for the full amount of time. And then her highlights processed for about 20 minutes with that, and I stuck her under the dryer for 10 minutes after. And then I toned her. I toned her roots with 8N sheer, and I toned her ends with Shades EQ. And this is the final result. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the box below. Follow me on Instagram at Hair by Lexi Dawn, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!